Right. So,
Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? This is Herspiration Happy Hour.
oh goodness, happy Wednesday and welcome to another
Hello.
Herspiration Happy Hour. And if I am not mistaken, this is also our season 4 finale.
Yes, woo!
Yeah, another with 20. This is 20 episodes in season 4. And it's going to be far more in season 5 because, there's going to be some changes, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. This is your unapologetic diva, Dr. G. Louisa.
Sorry about that. And this is somebody called me. This is Louisa, aka the Blue Phoenix, and I'm going to tell you guys, this week has been some type of week. So what we're drinking on today is whatever shot of alcohol you prefer. I prefer, I guess, Jack sometimes as a shot. Honey Jack, maybe.
Okay.
What do you prefer?
Me, I actually don't care to take shots.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do, I'm just not even picky. It's like, you know what? It's whatever.
Just give it to me.
It's whatever it is that somebody is bringing to me because it's not my choice to take shots. I actually don't like it, despite not liking sweet drinks. And to me, it's almost as if because I like dirty martinis, dirty gin.
Okay.
And that's basically a shot.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So yeah, but outside of that, no, I don't know. I don't care to have my whole throat and chest burning. Like, what's the whole purpose? What's the point?
I don't know. I think it's to get drunk faster. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up to find out how much faster you get taking shots versus sipping on something strong.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way. And the thing is, I'm not even a big shot person either, but some of the people I hang around, they always want to take shots. So I might take 2.
Oh, wow.
I don't, and they're not back to back. I tell you that.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to stay mum. Look, Carletta said, thank you so much for that, Carletta, letting us know that shots are faster.
Yeah.
I would think it all depends on how much. If you just had one shot.
Yeah, I think you should be okay.
You have 6 drinks. I'm like,
oh, that's a lot though.
But I have taken shots after shots after shots a few times and whatnot. So, it is what it is. And I see our guest arrive. So we're going to be right with you in just a second. Because, by the way, I'll talk about it a little bit. I was sent my I forgot what it's called. She'll have to remind me when she comes on. My little inventory thing. And when I say, I was like, oh my gosh, this is probably the best description of me.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's like an inventory. And so it was just based off of my birthday, what time I was born, where I was born, and all of these things was brought about. I'm telling you, it was just something so just different about this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was quite interesting. I was going to definitely share, especially with Cortina, our other guest, our other host. Cortina is going to be running a little bit behind, but she should be popping on in about 2 or 3 minutes. She, of course, being a therapist, you have people that just kind of, have their appointments set and scheduled, and she's a really great therapist. So, by the way, do you have your women crush today? Because it is Wednesday and we always shout out women. So do you have your woman crush up today?
Do I? No.
You know what? Let me go first then. Let me just say that first of all, it's still Scorpio season. I am shouting out every female Scorpio who is out here doing the damn thing. Let me tell you, I have never so many successful just Scorpio woman is out here changing the game out here. So I'm going to name a few. So there is Tavia, MD. She's a publicist. There's Tammy Reese, a publicist as well. And then also she's an actress and all of these other things. And another young woman that's just dynamic, and she lives out in LA. We didn't get a chance to connect, but her name is Crystal. On Facebook, she's Love Wins. And so, but I mean, because I'm not shouting out any men, I'm just saying, but I've been around just watching my timeline and seeing all of these dynamic women. And my friend Vanita Mathis, who is, I think she's a social worker out in Texas, unless she moved, and I don't know. But there's just some bomb Scorpio woman out here. So I'm just going to shout out every Scorpio woman that's out here doing the damn thing. And if I didn't call on you, it was not on purpose, but I'm repping you all today because I'm myself.
Oh, that's so dope.
Yeah, I'm a fellow Scorpio that's out here. I feel like I'm also, being a part of that change and changing the game on things. So
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
all of my Scorpios out here celebrating the whole month because, Scorpios don't know how to act. So yeah. Shouting out every Scorpio. I'm gonna have to run that back and just kind of record that and just be like, oh, shout out to all these phenomenal Scorpios that I have the pleasure of being connected with.
Yeah.
So do you want to have one now, or we could just let the Scorpios run this?
Yeah, we're gonna let the Scorpios have it this time. Y'all can have it. Y'all dope.
Okay. And so while we're waiting on Cortina to come in, because I really want to make sure that I have enough time with our guest today. And so Kasia, and I hope I pronounced your name right. So I'm going to bring her up. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Kasia?
Close. Kind of close. It's Kasia.
Oh,
Kasia. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Kasia. And we got Cortina just popped in as well.
Well, hello.
So Cortina, I was just sharing that my inventory that I took, that Kasia did, was literally me. It resonated everything me. So I'm excited about getting my results. Are you explaining to me some of the things that I've seen? But first, welcome to Herspiration Happy Hour. And then let everybody know a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys so much for having me today. This is so exciting. And I got your feedback, Pamela, just like right before I signed on. And I was like, yes, this is exactly the whole reason of why we're doing what we're doing here at Mission Recruit. So my name is Kasia. I am a human design analyst and HR director. I work with Mission Recruit specifically to help leaders optimize their team using their human design assessments. And human design is kind of like a Myers-Briggs meets sort of like the universe. So it really ties in things like astrology and ancient other philosophies, ancient Eastern philosophies, as well as things like quantum physics and things that are really rooted in sort of this more conventional sense in terms of personality assessments. And together with the founder of Mission Recruit, Patricia, we have composed some workshops that we're doing with teams all across North America, and really introducing them to these concepts where they can really get the best of their team and sort of help them live their most truest self, which I know is sort of a co-opted term these days, but really this is just about getting back to your roots, getting back to who you are without any sort of conditioning, and becoming sort of your unapologetic self. This ties really well into the work that you do too.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm so interested because I know you explained the human design, and I took this assessment and it was based off of just a few factors, my birthday, when I was born, and where I was born. I think that was it. And all of this, it was like 14 pages of information about my style of, both my professional style and my personal things. And I was like, oh my God, I never realized those things, even though I do them. So how does this inventory of yourself, both personality and I guess universally, help businesses create better leaders?
Amazing question. First of all, I think as leaders, we are constantly setting expectations with our team. And when our team is struggling to meet those expectations, there becomes sometimes like a point of contention or a point of frustration between, like the team member and leader dynamic. When you understand your team's human design on an individual basis, it's really not a one size fits all approach to management. And you learn how to accept the team that you have, to, in their most like real selves. Like you help them understand who they are and how they best work. So there are some people like you, Pamela, who have like that sacral response when it comes to decision making. But there are people like me who need to sleep on it, like literally need to sleep on it. And that, again, you're like waiting for your team to like make a decision for you. Like, okay, let's do this, let's move on. There are some people who just really need to take some time. And that might make you feel a bit frustrated, feel a bit angry. Why aren't these people on the same page as me, et cetera, et cetera. And it creates some judgment in the workplace. And it's really, in a way, kind of needless, but we haven't really been given the tools or the language around how to articulate that. So someone's just trying to be themselves over here, and you're trying to get them on the same page as you, but you're not able to kind of like connect. And human design really helps bridge that gap. Gives you the language, it gives you the tools to really help you understand your team, how they best make decisions, how they best communicate with themselves, with you, with each other. And then how to, very pragmatically and I find digestively, create an environment in your workplace and within your team to really optimize for success, so that you can get onto the same page together. You can achieve the same goals. Just everyone's going to do it a little bit differently, and that's okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sure.
So when you constructed or developed the inventory, when you were doing like the trials and everything like that, what was the methodology behind making sure everyone perceives the questions the same? So like in addition to that, because I haven't seen it, what scales do you use? Like sometimes, always, neutral, or disagree strongly?
So the beauty about it,
what are the scales that you use?
I love that. We actually don't use any. There are none. So it's completely objective. It's your birth time. It's your birth date. It's where you were born.
That only 3 questions.
So I'm going to share. I've never done this before, but I'm going to share my screen. So let me see if I can. I'm trying to see what I can share here, because I want to make sure.
And they say like, but it's mostly all zodiac though, and you give like the time you were born, where you were born, but it's like a different astrological.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah,
like I've done that one, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of beauty about it. I mean, I think with what's different from other personality assessment tools, like they require you to fill out a form with choices that lead you to a specific outcome, and you're sort of filling it out, and you're thinking, okay, well, how am I going to answer this in a way that like I want people to see me, or I want my employer to see me? How am I going to answer this question so that the outcome is accepted, by the people around me, not necessarily like how am I going to fill it out with the most true. And you can't really like fiddle with like your time, like the day that you were born. Like the day that you were born is the day that you were born, and where you were born and the time. Like the time can be a contentious like factor, just because not everyone knows, and it's definitely something you have to call like your family about, or the hospital that you were born at. So that can sometimes be a bit of a barrier. But the system has been around for about 30 years. Wow. And there have been people who have developed methodologies of being able to rectify the time that you were born, just based off of specific like astrology that happened maybe that year or that month or that day. Like it tends to be really, really accurate, to the point where people just kind of have that like self-realization. They're like, oh my God, yeah, this is me. And I've always and now I know why I am the way that I am. And that's pretty radical.
I did. It was so literally on point. So I'm pulling mine up on the iPad versus on here, because if I share a screen, it doesn't, I don't know if it'll let me. And so I have a few. So mine, one of the things that came up for me, my blueprint, it said that I'm a manifesting generator. And then my strategy is wait to respond, inform, and act. My authority is sacral. And then my leadership architect is 3/5, the great life experimenter. And it looks like this. I don't know what all that is though. What is that?
Looks like chakras a little bit. It looks like chakras.
Yeah.
To me.
Oh, that's what it is?
Incorporates. Yeah, it incorporates. Human design touches upon things like the I Ching, the chakra system, the Kabbalah, astrology, and quantum physics. So it takes all these really ancient archetypes and it combines it all together based off of the time that you were born, where that you were born.
So I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this. It said manifesting generator, which is what it said I am. This was what I didn't even know there was a title for what I do. But it said that, I have the ability to create and amplify energy in the world when I am doing what I love. It says you are the person on the team who can hack any process. You are able to see the unnecessary steps, move quickly, and show us a new way of doing things. You're fun to be around, lift up the people around you, and are built to pivot towards what lights you up. I was like, wait a minute. And then it said, because it also say how you can impact the team. And it's saying I'm multi-passionate and a creative force. It says when you are truly fulfilled in your work, you are able to blaze trails and forge new paths, as well as respond to projects and devote your energy to bringing to life the vision of others. I'm a non-linear thinker. It says when you are in tune with your strategy and authority, your gut instincts for decision making will be spot on. Your team trusts you for which direction projects should go, and the strategy behind it, even if unconventional. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, that is so me. And it had all of these different things, but it also broke down the different types of, it said like what this, let me see if this lifts up here. Okay, signs you're on the right path. I mean, it had a whole lot. I was like, but it literally had me on point. But it also had something understanding the different types of HD types. It has generators, manifestors, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. Can you kind of break down what each one of these really kind of mean, kind of in a synopsis, so I don't have to I don't have to read the whole chart here.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we've got generators, and manifesting generators are a riff off each other. So generators are kind of like the OG type of the sacral beings. And then the manifesting generator appeared in the late 80s, just kind of evolved. Okay. I don't know enough about like sort of the history about human design to like explain that. But it basically is a combination of two types of the generator and the manifestor. So generators and their manifesting generator counterparts have powerful and magnetic energy that allows them to work and produce. They have a consistent access to energy, and so they are sort of like the energizer bunnies of the human design system. The catch with that is that even though they have the ability to go, they can get really burnt out. They're the person putting up their hand because they can do it, because they have the energy to do it. The key for them is to make sure that they're engaging in things that they actually want to engage in. And this is when you kind of go into the layer of your human design where you're following your authority and your strategy, which is your decision making. And that is really what helps you understand, okay, yeah, I really do feel this gut instinct, this sacral response that's telling me to go for it, versus like, I don't really feel anything about this, I'm going to say no, right? And in work, we feel really conditioned and perhaps pressured to make a decision that we don't want to engage in, things like that. And that's kind of what leads us down the road to burnout, or a road to like frustration or anger, which would be our not self theme. So you've got generators, manifesting generators. We have manifestors that basically are creating and initiating action and bringing into life new projects and concepts that we've never seen or heard of before. We've got projectors, which guide with ideas and concepts and awareness. They're kind of like, my teacher calls it like the bird on the tree. They are non-energy beings, so they're really picky about who and what they engage in. And the key for them is to be invited and feel like they are seen. So, you know, when you're in the workplace, you have these MGs and these generators who are like, look at me, look at what I can do. And then you may have this kind of wallflower on your team who, you know, really like their feedback is or they're always be asking for feedback. And that could be someone on your team who's a projector, who is like, when you ask them a question, they're like, oh, I have all of these like ideas and advice, and I see this system and I see this thing in my head unfolding, but they're not necessarily the person to put up their hand and be really forthcoming with that information. We have manifestors who are the like great initiators in sort of the human design world. So they're creating and initiating action and bringing into life new projects and concepts. I think I might have just said that, but I got excited. And so unlike generators, which are kind of responding to their environment around them, and a manifestor is like, hey, I've got this really great idea. Let's go. What do you think about it? And then, you know, you, Pam, as the manifesting generator will be like, gut response, yes. Or, what if we tweak it a little bit? Maybe then I'll be on board.
Okay.
And manifestors don't necessarily have that sacral energy. So for them, it's really about engaging and initiating only what really feels true for them and really lights them up. And then lastly, we have projectors. And projectors are like the literal mirror to society. They have, if you were to see a projector chart, or a reflector chart, you would notice that there is no, like none of the chakras are colored in. And so they literally are just people who are reflections to you, to your team, and showing you and your team how you're doing as a collective. So if a reflector is really thriving in their workplace, that just sort of means that the whole team is thriving. So they're really like your thermometer on your team. Those are the 5 main types.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it seems like, let's say you did like a in-service training for a company and you were to give this to the employees, it would also give a better insight into how managers can manage their teams
100%.
on an individual basis, because oftentimes we manage, this is just my management style, regardless of what your personality is, which is not always the best way to do it, because some people are just initiators and they don't really need to be micromanaged, and all the way to the ones that do need to be micromanaged. And I think it's important to know, you know, your management style and how to be fluid and flexible in that. So I think this would be a great tool as to, one, how to motivate your team, because what motivates the manifestor might not be what motivates the projector. And so really being able to use that as a tool.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I put it into practice with my team. I work in the restaurant industry. And as you know, like it's a really grueling industry. Like there's a lot of turnover. It's very demanding. It's very physical. It's very just sort of mentally exhausting. And especially through the pandemic, we really had to kind of like leverage what we had and really be smart about what we were putting out there into the world, because there was just, you know, we were just being bombarded, especially up in Canada where I'm from. So it was like, you know, once I sort of shared with my team their human design, that allowed me as a leader to be like, okay, how can we really achieve this goal of like staying open, not having any turnover, managing our sales, managing, you know, really important, you know, things like whatever KPIs as a business you're trying to manage. I was able to tailor our strategy, you know, specifically to each one and watch them thrive rather than just sort of burn out for the sake of, you know, needing to meet whatever metric we needed to meet that quarter or that year.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that you can apply this outside of the workplace, like with your family or people, any, people you deal with or stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah, like there are a lot of people. I think when you understand your human design, probably the first thing you do is look up like your partner, maybe your best friend, maybe like your siblings if you've got that, and then you're like, oh, okay, I understand now why you're like this, or like I understand sort of like the point of contention that we have, right? We're always trying to kind of like figure people out. So that was like one of the first things that I did was like look up, my siblings, look at my husband. And then I was like, oh, okay, I understand. And like, it helps me accept sort of some of the things that were harder for me to move on with. I mean, I'm a Virgo, so I'm, exceptionally picky and judgmental. And that's just like, certainly like a shadow part of that archetype that
Mm-hmm.
can really hold someone back. And I do some readings for families. There are people who are like, okay, can you please do a chart reading for my child? I really want to help them I really want to understand who they are as
Yeah,
like,
that would be really beneficial for the children, and family, parents.
yeah.
Such a
There's a lot of like, the founder says that like human design really is for the children. It is for sort of these like next generations who are coming up and are really just not interested in the status quo, are not interested in what we've built, and are just kind of like challenging sort of everything that exists, which I think is hugely important for the survival of us as a species. And if you have parents who are innately accepting their children for who they are, think about what kind of a society we can develop and bring up.
Now, when you say chart readings, are you mean based on how they respond, or looking at nautical charts and saying, and the stars and the sun, and saying, okay, let me so, because when I hear the word readings, I'm thinking about,
Sure.
empaths and mediums and
Fair
things.
enough.
So help me understand when you say, when
Fair
family
enough.
ask me to do a chart reading, specifically what that means.
So the other term that we can use is like an analysis. So if that sort of what it is in human design is called your body graph.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, if you look really closely, you'll see like the glyphs of like the planets, and then you'll see numbers, and then you'll see the chakras and how they're all connected to each other. And so that is our body graph. Your birth time, your date, and where you're born sort of put that all together for you. And then someone like me who's trained in reading and understanding the human design would interpret that. And so we can call that a reading. We can call that an analysis. We can call it an assessment.
Definitely the above, because I was really shocked, and I just thought to myself, this would be so great for, I mean, I know it's usually done for business, but I would love to have like a party with my friends and just say, look, I want to know your human design. I think that it would make us better friends. I think it would help us better understand one another, even for families. I just saying that'd be a great little addition to have to add to some parties.
Yeah, it would.
Is it evidence-based?
It's in what way? Like it's evidence-based.
So
and
like Myers-Briggs is, so like its fidelity has been tested, and different individuals, no matter who takes it or whatever. And I'm not really sure how you would be able to test it, because I guess if one does not necessarily believe in astrology and chakras and energies and all of that, it might be very difficult for them to conceptualize or wrap their head around. I'm not sure about that. And then
for sure,
other people on the other hand. So just saying, like, how widely used is this?
This, I would say, like it's certainly it's certainly something new, especially in business. I think sort of there are a lot of people who have gotten their personal human design body graphs read, and now there are people like me, and there are other people who are much more widely more successful than I am, who are bringing it into business as well. And I would say that it really just comes from your own sort of personal, testing, your own readings that you're doing. And then, perhaps eventually there will be a lot more evidence-based data out there that really dictates, acceptance just to some degree, or confirms, okay, yeah, there really is something like an emotional wave or a sacral response. Yeah, I think that that's probably the next step that's going to be happening. And then another thing too, and just the way that I was taught is like, this is literally called the human design experiment. It's not meant to be dogmatic. And so you can really take it or leave it. And it takes, sort of like, some say like 7 years to really understand and really express your full human design body graph, because it comes again with a lot of deconditioning and a lot of sort of looking at, okay, some of what I think about myself isn't really true to me. It's been instilled by, like, my grade 3 teacher or like my mom or dad or society. The constructs of the society that we live in are, kind of programming our brains to think certain ways about who we are and how we are as human beings and collectives,
yes, that's
right?
true.
Yeah, and so right now, it's an interesting time that human design is being more talked about, because I think we are personally in that sort of awakening aspect of, just sort of our own, human evolution. People are questioning, okay, why have we been doing these things for so many years? And is this really something that's just? Is this really something that benefits society as a whole, or is it really only benefiting, specific and certain people? And how do then I become a part of that change? How do I show up for myself in a way that is real for me? Aside from, we have to kind of work that out, right? I'm working on that in terms of my own biases, and then we also have people who are working on that in terms of like their own confidence and feeling that they can be, they can speak and they can be seen and they can be heard.
Nice.
I liked it. I was in shock and awe. I was like, wow, for someone who I've never met, I just gave my birthday and where I was born to and the time of my birth to somebody that I did know and how everything just poured out. And I was like, oh, I mean, some of the things I always knew or I've been told, but it's not something that I'm cognizant of. And that was very in my face about how I am and my makeup. And anybody that knows me, I even talk about all the time how I listen to my gut. My gut tells me everything that I want to know. That's exactly how I live. If it doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it. And it said that I'm either a yes or no person. I am so black and white when it comes to most things. I have no happy medium. I'm either hot or I'm cold. I'm cold or I'm hot. It's a yes or it's a no. It's very seldom, do I have that happy medium where I don't know or can't, ingest something. And when I do, it's like, you know what, let me think about this for a minute, because I have to play it out in my mind. But then also just me being able to manifest a lot of things and motivating people to do certain things. I've always been that type of person. I was that type of manager. And when I had a staff, one of the things that I always did, I believe that if I saw the greatest in you, and whether I saw it or not, I had a goal to have you gone before I was gone. Because I wanted to grow you and help you grow and develop you, because that's what, as a supervisor, that's what I felt like you should be doing. So I didn't care about turnover. I just wanted the people that was doing a great job, if I could get them promoted either within or support them applying for jobs and going to interviews. I never had a employee go to an interview behind my back. They knew the level of support that I was providing for them, and they would always let me know. And I'm like, just let me know how it turns out. That's it. And one of them, when he left, he told me, he said, you saved my life, one. And then he told me, he said, I hope I can be half the supervisor that you taught me to be. Because I was very, I'm all about helping people, come up and grow and flourish to the people that they should be.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then just reading all of these things, I was like, oh, this is impressive. I'm not proud of myself because I don't think about it. I'm such a person that operates in servitude that I don't think about there being uh, a name for things. And just to know that
Right.
there's a whole personality trait that rolls into this one being makes me feel good. So let me
Yeah.
ask you this:
I think, yeah.
how often do you all do these assessments for non-business?
For people,
Yeah.
I usually like more often for people than businesses right now. So before I started working with Patricia, like I was specifically just reading on a one-on-one basis or completing analysis for like just like my own clients. And because I was doing work with my team, I was like, and seeing the results and just recognizing that like the workplace and like work culture and personal development and just HR in general just really needs some improvement. And I would do the Myers-Briggs, I would do the DISC assessment, I would do the Colby, I would do everything. I'm a personal development junkie, and I would be like, none of this feels right. Like there's aspects that I love and aspects that just don't resonate. And I heard about human design on a podcast, and I was just listening to them talk about the different types, and I was just like, oh my God, this is really interesting. So I, plugged in my birth information and figured out what I was, which is also a manifesting generator. And my life has just been really nonlinear. Like how I've gotten here just kind of makes no sense from like in the traditional sense of where I've started. And I was like, and I've always felt like I had to justify that to people. Well, how could you be this? You didn't study this. Like, how did you get here? Blah, blah, blah. And I would just be like, I don't know. I just kind of like I just I just followed whatever made me excited.
Yeah.
And that, that gut instinct as well. If I felt like it was a go, like I would make it happen. If I really, really wanted something, I would be that person who's emailing you like 5 times a day waiting for a response. Have you made your decision yet? Like, I would really like to work for you. Things like that. And then I just sort of like, if I just follow that instinct and follow again what lights me up, and I don't really judge myself for it, that's really important. Everything just kind of ends up, not everything kind of ends up happening. Like it's not all just raining amazingness on, but the things that are really meant to be and the things that I've worked really hard for have happened to unfold in a really weird and serendipitous way.
Is there, and I don't know if you guys talked about this before I came on, is there a fee to take the inventory?
No, you can, there's a few websites where you can do this for free. It's just like, you will be able to read it and see like the basics of what your type is and maybe what your authority and your strategy are. And then there are, lots of people who are analyzing it a little bit more deeper, because your type, your authority, and your strategy and your profile are really like scratching the surface. You can go into things like the centers. You can go into things like the lines and the gates. And those really sort of color your personality on a more individual basis. What we've chosen to do at Mission Recruit is really just give people a very brief but important understanding of who they are and how they function in the world. And then when they're ready to kind of talk about things like life purpose and what their gifts are, then you can book a one-on-one with me, and we would talk about, we would go into depth about, certain things. Like Pamela, for example, has a channel connecting her throat chakra to her mind, and that is called the Genius to Freak channel. And it is someone who can disseminate these really radical ideas and disseminate it into something that's super pragmatic and revolutionary. And not everyone has access to that energy. And it's a really like special channel to have. because you have that ability. You've got that you're able to manifest those ideas into reality, which not everyone has, right? Some people will be able to, it's called the channel of structuring. So you're taking ideas that are super abstract and don't exist yet, and you're able to kind of put it down on paper, put a strategic plan to it, put, steps A to Z on it, and then you've made it into real life. And I'm sure there are lots of examples.
Oh yes,
story
of
it's catalyst. Yeah, it's a catalyst type of energy. Like even podcasts, I love when I interview with podcast hosts who have this channel, because I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. You're taking like radical ideas not a lot of people have heard of, and you're able to interview and create a dialogue around it. And now your audience, it's like, you've kind of created an ability for your audience to understand, and then be able to share that as well with other people that they happen to come across.
Yeah, cool. That's certainly spot on with me, because I don't think there's anything that I've thought about that I've not been able to manifest when I felt it real strong. Heck, I have a whole children's book series that I had no idea that manifested out in my sleep. And here I am, 3 titles later, but 12 books, and they're in English, French, and Spanish. I would not have seen that coming. It was a thought, and I literally, it felt so strong, I did it. So I have lots of different examples of just waking up and manifesting. That's just like
that. And that's such an MG vibe. Like,
yeah, we are saying you're so in tune.
Yeah, that's really, like, you've done enough of your own personal development work to just kind of be like, no, this is like, I really believe in myself. I have confidence in myself, and I know that if I trust it, I'm going to go, and I'm going to be able to make it happen. And there are some people who aren't quite that far, and that's like totally okay. And that's, I think, healthy skepticism, because part of human design is that sort of radical self-acceptance of who you are. And there's, it takes work, it takes time.
Pam, you were speaking about the sacral part of you. Okay, because it's so funny, because I just did it real quick while we was on here. And so when you said it came to you in your sleep, that's how I got my book title in my sleep, and my dissertation project. It came to me in my sleep.
Yeah,
I love
that. A lot of stuff is
that's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of things that I do are manifested when I am sleeping, and I wake up, and if I still remember it when I wake up, or I just wake up out of my sleep, and I'm like, typing in my phone, like, I need to remember this. And sometimes, it comes to me so strong that it gives me everything for it. So
that's so amazing. That is also probably due to, like, again, just looking at your chart, you have, an open mind center. And so you're constantly just sort of taking in all of the ideas and the concepts and the things that are coming around you. And then it's up to you to make the choice of whether you feel strongly about it. There's some people who have that open mind center who are just like, I'm bombarded with ideas all day. I don't know what to pick. I don't know what to choose. And then you can kind of get overwhelmed and caught up in that energy.
So let me ask you this: is there anything that just, like, whenever you're doing these, that just shocks you about people? Like, oh, this is something, like, this person should really know this about themselves, or I wonder if this person really knows this about themselves.
I think it's certainly like, I'm more of like, and I wonder. I try to avoid, like, the whole should thing again, because I don't know people's personal lives. I don't know their backgrounds, and sometimes, I may be able to see that potential, but there's so much stuff that gets in the way of that. And so that's all I'm really hoping for in the session and in this environment, is just really helping that person, wade through all of that so they can come back to who they are. So, it's just really, really trying not to kind of, like, I hope that they see that by the end. Right. And they might not get it right away, but perhaps in a few months or a few years, I'll be like, oh yeah, there I am. And I can see myself.
So what's one of the things that I would say that with mine that I should pay attention to? That was like probably, I know myself pretty well. I think I do anyway.
Okay, so two things. Two things I think actually really stick out for me. One is your profile being like the 3-5, and the 5 line being like the mirror in human design can be really challenging because you are like, I see so much. I see so much, and I wanted to share with the world everything that I see. And sometimes you may do that in a way that, you know, we have to remind ourselves that like not everyone wants to see what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And that can hurt you. That can, like, you know, unfortunately, because you're just like, hey, I have this feedback, and they're like, oh, I don't want it. Like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah, that's true.
Ugh. And that can
I mean,
create, like, you know,
some people aren't accepting, so yeah.
and you know, they're just not ready. Like maybe eventually they'll be like, hey Pam, can I get your feedback? And you're like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment, and then you just sort of unleash it all. That's the double-edged sword of you know, being the 5, is like you've got all this life experience, you've extracted truth from it, you know, you're ready to share it with the world. It's just so key that you're sharing it with the right audience, with people who want to hear it, with people who want to know about it. And those are going to be your people. Those are going to be, you know, the people on your team. And they're just going to be some people who like just don't jive. And it's cool. You just let that go.
Okay. No, that I can use that one in my personal life.
Fair.
The MG stands
Totally
for
fair.
what? The MG stands for what?
Manifesting generator.
Oh, got it. Okay. And the 3-5, because if mine says 4-6, does that mean we're opposite?
Ooh, cool. No, that is a different profile. So I'm a 4-6. Are you a 4-6 MG?
I'm a 4-6. Yeah.
Nice. Amazing. So a 4-6 is like the influencer and role model. So you have got a lot of sort of like your profile, which is sort of how you engage with the world, how people see you, is really someone who knows themselves and who is recognized for being themselves, but also is able to kind of like capture a community. And so you like your closest peers, like you could have a lot of friends and you can know a lot of people, but the key is like you've got your group.
Oh, that's so
and
true.
you want to be building communities, and you want to be, you know, you love to network, but you're very careful about who you're networking with. And then people just like see you as this very like sort of like wise regal authority. They're like, oh,
well, I'm a therapist. People come to me.
Yeah.
And so people don't hear from me. I'm just
so funny. That's interesting.
It's a little bit different because you live by example, right? So it's definitely like I've got all this like lived experience. I'm not necessarily like shouting it out from the rooftops, but I've got that. And when we're tapping into that energy, like I'm able to share and make it really relevant and make it really just like helpful for people. Whereas the 5 is like, I want to change everybody. And, you know, and I want to change things. And like, you know, we've got these like really huge grand plans, which are amazing. But like, you know, just really like know your audience, know the people with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was the second one of mine that you said stood out? And the one was that it was a 3-5.
The one that was a 3-5, and then this is diving a little bit deeper into your design and noticing that your emotional center is completely wide open. There's no gates, there's no channels, there's nothing attached to it. And this is what makes you a sacral being, which is really great. You've got that instinct. But what happens is when you have a center that is totally open, so those shapes basically in your body graph, when you have a center that's totally open, you tend to like absorb it and take it all in. And so if you have someone in your household who is an emotional being, an emotionally defined person in human design, you may be taking on their emotions and you may be having like a really chill, regular day and come home and suddenly be like super anxious, feeling all the feelings, like what's going on? I don't really understand where I picked all this up from. And now I don't, you know, and now I'm just regurgitating it back out and spitting it back out. And the issue with being, you know, a non-emotional is that it goes back out like 10 times.
That I'm not,
So
yeah,
it's just
you know, that's true. I'm very much so, I can come off very non-emotional, but I feed off of energy. And when that energy is not right,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, so the analogy that I've been taught is like, okay, the emotional person is the person in the boat, like on the ocean, and they're being rocked around by the waves in the water. And the non-emotional person is watching that person on the beach. And you have the choice to either get on the boat with them and go on that journey, or just sort of watch them from afar and be like, hey, how you doing? I see you. And like, I'm just
That's funny.
yeah, I'm just letting you know that you're going to be okay. You know, deal with your process and you'll get there. You'll get to that. The water will be calm again. And then I'll come out and join you. But I'm not going to get in that boat with you and go on that emotional ride because I don't really need it. I'll still be able to support you, but I'll be able to do that from afar.
So spot on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So spot on. Oh my
I love that analogy. I think because a lot of Stateville people will be like, I feel so emotional. I feel like so empathic. And I'm like, okay, you are, because you can pick up on that. But really, you also have the choice of whether or not you want to engage with that energy and recognize what happens when you do. What happens when you get on that boat?
Yeah.
And then what happens when you choose to like still be there, still hold space, still have compassion and empathy for someone, but not necessarily go down that emotional wave with them or project that intensity.
Yeah. So that's so interesting. So how can, if people want to have this assessment done through you or even for their businesses, how can they tap in, reach out, get in touch with you all?
Amazing. Yeah, you guys can check out our website at MissionRecruit.com. And we've got our workshop listed there. We've got our personal assessments listed through there as well. We do have like a sort of like November special happening. So if there are people who want, there's a code on the website listed for you to get like the PDF assessment that I sent you. And then if you want to learn a little bit more, I do private sessions, and you can reach out to me through email at Kasia@MissionRecruit.com.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in and having this great conversation. I mean, about this assessment.
Thank you, Kasia. That was awesome.
I'll be in touch for some personal stuff so I can, do a group with my friends. I'll have a whole,
I would love that. That would be a lot of fun. That would be so much fun.
Have a whole night. That would be so interesting just to hear about all of the different personality traits. Mm-hmm. But again, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you swinging by. We're going to have you back after the new year, and all of us have an assessment broken down just for our podcast hosts, because we've been connecting and it was instantaneous. So I would love to see a Cortina.
Yeah, it was really great.
It would be so great to know where we all stand, especially the other little nuances that come out of being, having the analysis done, the full analysis.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Especially like connection charts too. Like when you do full team charts and you get to see how you all work together, it's like on an energetic, but again, like we break it down so that it feels more real. And I'm not just talking about like atoms. Atoms and auras.
Okay, well,
thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing.
So thank you so much for stopping by. We definitely loved having you here again. You all go check out the website, go to Mission Recruit, and, get your analysis done. I mean, it might be a life changer for your relationships. I've learned a few things about myself that I probably need to be more mindful about, even though I really do. I've known it about myself. I just didn't know the other side of that. Really good to know. So I thank you so much. And I'm going to be in touch anyway, because I want to have my full analysis done. So I'm going to have to make some time for that.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful.
All right. Bye-bye.
We'll keep in touch.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.
That's cool.
I know. Wasn't it totally cool? I was like, I sent you all my full analysis.
That was really cool.
So interesting. And I'm reading it and I didn't know about the whole chakras and all of that stuff. So when I saw it up there, I was like, what in the world is all of this stuff? But it was something that was a rewarding experience just to read that kind of information. myself. I'm telling you. And it was fully broken out. It was like several pages and it was very descriptive and it was so spot on. That was the main thing. It was so spot on and it makes me feel really good. Like, I'm living the life that I was born to live because it goes off of your birthday, your birth time, and your birth location. So how about that?
Mm-hmm.
You have to share yours. Are you?
It didn't give me the full thing like what you got because I got to pay for it. So I'm not. I want to spend $59 right now. So
We have to put that one in the budget because I would love to, to get one.
I'll do it later, but I just didn't want to do it right now while we was on the podcast. I just and then when I clicked on something, it said, "Oh, purchase, add to cart." Oh, not right now. So.
No,
This is so funny though. Yeah, this is really, really and even just a little bit that they gave me and what she said, and I'm looking at yours because they have like what mine says, so I can use it as a little cheat sheet. Like, okay, mine said this, okay, it says right here. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is absolutely, yeah, this is me. Yeah, I am inspired by things that I like doing. That's kind of what keeps me going and fuels my passion. So yeah.
Yeah, I was loving it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so super cool. So, Louisa, where can everyone find you at? And what do you have going on and coming up? Because I want to be able to shine those things because this is our season 4 finale show. So let's just get a recap of what you have coming up. And then I'll talk briefly about season 5. Because I think you have to run at 8:00, right?
Not tonight.
Oh, okay, but I just wanted to, what projects are coming up
either way.
and how to support you?
Let's see. I haven't done much because one of our partners' mom passed, so we've been on a little hiatus. Yeah, it was right there at the tip of my tongue. We've been on hiatus for a little bit, but we'll be back. Right now, it's mainly us collecting ourselves and doing the podcast, the other podcast that we have. I have been working with another gentleman on another movie. So I'm actually in this movie. I can't put it out there yet. Well, no, it's called Let Go. He did put it out there. It's called Let Go, and I think it'll be out next year, but I'm not sure exactly when.
Get your
yeah, it was fun. It's so much. We had fun. We had fun doing this, and it's not going to be what you think. Well, the part that I play is not going to be what you think.
Okay.
It's funny, but so I've been working on that, and then working on just with the children and everything. So it's not really much other than the short film Happy Anniversary that's out on Vimeo.com, and other than that, nothing really. That's about it for right now.
All right. What about you, Cortina? Where can everybody find you? What do you have coming up that you talk about?
Everybody can find me at The Girlfriend Therapist everywhere. And I'm working on a project that is part of my dissertation. And so I'm excited about it. It's an assessment. And so that's why I was asking her the questions that I was asking her. But so what I can share about it right now is it will be a web-based assessment for couples, up to 4 individuals in a couple. So I am doing triangles and polycules. There will be no gender because it's non-binary. It doesn't matter, and it only focuses on sexual behavior and interests. So I'm so excited about this. I can't hardly contain myself because at first I was going to do a book called Double D, The Dilemma of Discord. So Dilemma of Discord. However, I have expanded what it is that I'm going to do, and it will be out next year. So I'm just waiting on my what do you call those people? Dissertation committee members to go ahead and give me the green light So I got to finish my proposal and everything, but I share it with Pam because my other iPhone wouldn't let me share it to the group, so I had to share it with Pam. That is going to be the logo, and it will be available everywhere. So I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool.
I am so excited. I'm so excited.
I'm telling you, I saw, and what you do anyhow. I mean, I, of course, when you asked me, I felt honored, first of all, when you asked me to write your recommendation for your,
program. Yeah.
Your doctoral program. And I was like, oh, easy. First of all, you're getting a degree in sexology. I'm like,
okay.
I know. And so, I mean, but imagine having to write, it's like, oh my gosh. Okay. But when I did that, and just to see that you've come so far in everything that you are learning and applying. So I'm super excited. I'm just going to take the assessment just because.
You got to take it with somebody then.
I can take it with Jay. I'll take it with Jay.
Oh, okay. You said I'm like,
you know what?
I want to test it out. I mean, look, I can be one of your tests, that you run by. I mean, because you're not looking at gender. You're just looking at relationships. So two people.
Not even relationships, just sex, behaviors, interests, what you're doing.
Between you and another person.
Or people. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, me and another person.
She said her and another person. She ain't add nobody else tag on it. She ain't gonna tell you again.
And so you have a few people saying congratulations to you. Or Bernadette said congratulations to you, Cortina, on that. Yeah, so no, but it'll be me and him. And then I will encourage some other couples. Look at that. Now she go, or people. No, not or people. Bernadette is just one.
The important part is because I am trying to get it empirically validated so it can be a real assessment tool. So I am going to have to collect data to make sure that people, when they read the questions, that they all interpret it the same, to make sure that there's fidelity throughout the design. And so, I am going to need.
See, Bernadette, you and your husband can take it too.
Yeah, because I'm trying to, market it. I just don't, because there's a difference between like an academic assessment or a pop assessment. So like a pop one is those ones that you can take in a magazine and things like that. This particular one, I want it to be used by professionals. So so
especially clinicians who work in that.
Yeah, so
she's down. Bernadette says she's down. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be as for testing it. Let me find out all of my adult, my coupled friends, because let me ask you this, and I know we're going over our time, but when the analysis of it, if you have it between those two people, what if the sexual behaviors aren't the same?
Then that's when we talk about it in therapy. Because
I know that's right. That's the pathway to healing. Okay.
So it's called. I'm not
going to say it.
But that's the discrepancy part. So I have a model that I created, the INC model. Okay, so like something I'm into, something I'm neutral about, and something that I'm closed about. So I'm either INC on these particular things, and maybe we're both neutral and we've never explored it. We've never tried it. So it's something that we can add into our relationship. Whereas if my partner is open on something and I'm closed on something, all right, so there's a discrepancy. Let's talk about, will one person move to maybe neutral, or how can we both
divorces?
Well, not necessarily divorce it.
Identify if somebody's a whole freak and somebody is not.
Well,
oh my gosh.
So then what happens is in therapy, we talk about what shame are you holding on to that prevents you from being able to move forward? Or are there any religious ties that your mind, where you have this duality where it's like, I can't do this because it's bad, but I'm fighting because maybe I want to try it, but I'm stuck. And so it's a tool to start the conversation around, all right, what does this look like in our love life? Like, if I never get this threesome, will I be okay? Or is it going to cause complications later down the line?
Now I have a whole question. How how deep are you getting into these sexual behaviors? Because I know damn well that if there's stuff that, because people are into there's a lot of fetishes that's out here.
Yeah.
So how in depth are you getting? I mean, you're talking like,
we're going all the way deep, because I'm not talking about necessarily like love. I'm talking about sex, period. And so how sex therapists can use this in their practices. And even if you're not going to therapy, you'll be able to access the website and be able to take the quiz, and the analysis will come out on, okay, how did we score? What does this look like? I'm also creating a game. So just in case I'm not taking the inventory, there's a game, kind of like break the ice, where we are, asking these. Ooh, okay, maybe this is something.
I'm glad I'm in a relationship, and even if some of them questions, he better not ever be like, oh, one of them questions be like, oh, I like being peed on. It's a done deal. We breaking up.
You know what?
Well, you know what you gotta say. You know what we say to that?
What?
You can't yuck my yum.
Yep.
What?
Yep. That's what they say.
Yeah, you can't yuck my yum. You know what? I'm not gonna yuck your yum, whatever that may be. But whatever. I am so over the top excited about this, and the reason why I am, is because someone who looks like me has not created an inventory, or no one, because we have to do a literature review, right? So what I am doing, and the inclusivity, it hasn't been done yet, and so that's a gap in the research that in an assessment that we need to look at, right? And so I'm so super excited.
Yeah, I love it.
And but then you see the name, like there was a play on word.
I love the design. I'm telling you all are going to be, you're going to want to do it. And you know what? Just even still, even though you're going to use it for, for clinical purposes, I still think that you should create it. Only because there's a lot of people who feel like they don't necessarily have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It also identifies like, hey, this is healthy dialogue, or just let's try these things out. Again, I have my limits. There's just some things I'm not going to do, but I also, studied abnormal psychology, and you see a whole lot of stuff that I'm like, really, people do that. And the amount of fetishes that people have, that things that turn them on, and then I do have friends that, are out there, and I commend them. There's no judgment. I just was like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. It wasn't not shame behind it. Like, no, I'm just, I have OCD. There's some things.
Your boundaries, your limits.
Yeah, like the whole, I'm just saying. So you went R. Kelly on these questions.
Oh, I'm going from all the way vanilla to all the way, because that's what we call like real like missionary. We going straight vanilla all the way to like the extreme.
Super dark.
Again, it's about knowing your partner, right? And if I can't talk about these things, I live in a life of shame, and it might come out in other areas in my relationship.
Oh yeah,
I feel judged. So it's like, yes, the focus is on sex, but it's a very holistic view of potential issues, because just because it's a discrepancy, that doesn't mean that we're going to have relationship dissatisfaction. Right? Yeah. I might not care if you don't want to do that. I can live without it, but I like it, but I can live without it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Friday, I'm speaking for the Hawaii Center of Relationships and Sexual Health. So I'm speaking, and I am doing a presentation, and the topic of my presentation is called Relational Discord, Understanding and Addressing Common Relational Challenges that May Lead to Sexual Dissatisfaction. So that's something else that I have going on. So I'm like super excited. And then I have like a bunch of presentations in January and February. One is decolonizing your sex therapy practice. So that's another presentation that I'm doing. Another one is the value of Come on, Cortina, you got to get it together. I can't even think about it right now. Pleasure activism. Okay, so I'm doing on pleasure activism. And then I'm doing an HIV and AIDS presentation and the legal implications for therapists. Yes. And then I am also presenting on, it's one other presentation that I'm doing, but it's escaping me right now. So I have a lot of stuff coming up.
That's really cool.
2022, I'm getting married, and Pam is in my wedding.
Oh my gosh.
I still haven't received my invitation. I don't know where you sent it to.
Yeah.
No.
No, not the actual one. No.
No, to save the date.
Really?
Yeah, we'll check on that offline.
Well, remember, I ain't have you on the list. You was just on the other list.
I know. Oh, no, I knew that. And you said,
why you didn't get it?
I don't know. It's fine. It could, unless it's caught into something, or I don't know how that works, I don't know what address you sent it to, but I'll talk to you offline.
Yeah, and I was looking at that date that you have that reading in Florida. I was like, well, I hope she on the plane to Mexico the next week.
What do you mean?
Because my wedding it's
after that.
Right. But I don't know if you're going to be doing all that traveling, because you're going to need to be there, before the 15th. So
but I already, look, trust me.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure,
Do you know, and if anybody who's been following me, you would know, like.
Well, you always gone.
Yeah, I was gone for like 4 weekends and almost weeks straight. And then I was going to be gone for 6. And I was like, I'm tired. And then I just got back Monday, which I'm jet lagging and I'm tired. I just got back Monday morning from California after being there when I left on my birthday on the 8th. So trust me, I'm good. I'm going to be there.
As long as you do.
You just don't have no ugly dresses.
I can't do ugly.
Just saying. But I'm excited. Yes, I am made of honoring it up. I'm in a wedding on December 11th, and I leave for St. Thomas on the 8th of December for my cousin Ashley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's where I was in San Diego. We celebrated her having a bachelor. Oh, that's pretty.
This is what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah. For what? For your dress?
No, heck no.
Oh, the maid of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Not for me.
I had turned up and I had such a good time at the bachelorette weekend just this past weekend. I can't wait to see yours. I have a little bit of sun. I'm a little burned too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was tearing that sun up. That sun in San Diego is not no punk. Okay. so for me, I have, other than just having a bunch of stuff going on, I have officially released my dates and locations for my, Brown Girl and Brown Boy Kids Red Carpet event. This year was really beautiful. I'm glad that I'm having more time to plan. The first one will be March 5th in Austin, Texas. The second one will be May 14th in Jackson, Mississippi. The third one will be in Chicago, Illinois, again, July 9th next year. And then Orlando will be October 8th as well next year. So those 4. The one unique thing that I am doing so different this year is, instead of being the only author on the tour, because of course it's my baby and I was doing my initial book signing, but because I'm going to be releasing books every quarter for the next 2 years, I do think for the purpose of literacy and for Black and brown children having books from people who look like them and stories about them, I'm now going to have authors on the tours. So if you are a children's author and you would like to come, to be a part of this tour, whether you fly into any of those 4 locations on any of those dates or all of those dates, I will say it's highly publicized. Like I said, a press release just came out, and you can follow, or you can get the information at iamdrpgirly.com/events /BGBB book tour. And all the information is there. Heck, you just go to the website, iamdrpgirly.com, and go to events. It'll take you right there on there. But I would love to have other Black and brown authors to be a part of this tour. I will tell you this, one of the greatest things that I enjoy, and I learned something. When I was doing a literacy night at a school recently, there was so many parents that did not speak English that came across my table. Wow. Do you know the advantage I had by being able to still sell books, because my books are in English, French, and Spanish? But I also created a book series for that purpose, that those same parents can still make time and read with their kids, because that the book is in their language, and they can, that way they don't have to worry about not being able to participate and have time with their kids. So I'm looking forward to, any of the authors. Right now I'm offering a discount, so I would go ahead and enroll now, because Black Friday is coming up, and I am offering a discount on being a part of the tour. This tour is all about children, so I'm gonna put it out there right now that if you are both an adult and children's book author, you're only going to be able to sign and sell your children's books. It's a red carpet that is just lovely. I'm hoping to have my baby girl niece back out there again doing the interview. And but I just appreciate everybody that's showing my book series a lot of support. I'm going to be doing a lot of different things in the new year. As for the Herspiration Happy Hour, if you are interested now in being on the show, because of the demand that's been coming in about being guests on here, we are now going from instead of just doing the first and third Wednesday of every month, we will be doing every Wednesday every month. So it might be all of us, it might be some of us, it might be one of us, it might be some guest hosts. We are just doing it up. But every Wednesday, you will be able to catch us here and have some fun with us for a great cocktails and conversation about anything and everything. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of sex, as we have the girlfriend therapist here who's specializing in sex and sexology. Yay.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'm hoping everybody have a great holiday season. And because, again, this is our season 4 finale, we're totally looking forward to coming back. You never know how we'll come back different, because I'm always changing it up. Not sure if I'm going to change up the theme song, but I have a lot of things. If you are looking to promote anything in 2022, that's when we're really going to go full-fledged to be able to have you come in and even give us little mini commercials. It's going to be paid for, of course, but paid advertisements, and you can sponsor episodes as well. So we have a ton of things that's changing for the Herspiration Happy Hour brand.
Yay.
So, yeah, I know. And you can follow us on, of course, if you're here on Facebook, it's Herspiration Happy Hour. On Instagram, it's DAW Entertainment on Instagram. So which stands for Dope Ass Women. Yay. So thank you for coming out and hanging with us for this hour and 17 minutes beyond our time. Yeah. But we love you all. And like I said, have a Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year's. And we will be January 5th with an all new episode in season 5. And you know what, you all? Enjoy and cheers.